Welcome to the Solution Finders. Today I am here with Aurora. Hi, Aurora. So nice to see you here.
Hello, nice to see you. Nice to meet you as well, Una.
Can you talk about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Italian and I've been living in the UK since when I was 18 years old. I moved here to go to university and I studied drama and modern languages at university. And after my degree, I got into teaching. So I became a teacher of languages in secondary schools here in the UK. And straight away, I realized how working with children and teenagers, it was very important to keep them entertained when during my lessons, otherwise I would lose them straight away. And I thought straight away of using some drama techniques in my lessons. When you are teaching, you basically are in front of an audience. You are an actor on a stage and you got your students in front of you and you have to make sure they're entertained so that they can learn faster and better. So because my background was coming from drama and learning languages is very much doing a role play and pretending to be someone else speaking a language that's not yours. I used lots of role plays in my lessons. I taught Spanish and Latin in schools here in the UK. I worked a lot on my pronunciation and accent because having an Italian accent is something that really affected my career. I wanted to be an actress, but because I had an Italian accent, that kind of mm, stopped me from getting to drama schools. I didn't even try. I thought, why would they ever cast me as an Italian character? There's only so many Italian characters in plays. So working on my accent and my pronunciation was very important for me for a career reason. Um, so when I stopped pursuing my drama dream, I kind of transferred those skills that I acquired when I studied drama into my teaching. I then started doing videos for social media, teaching English and specifically teaching Italians English and focusing on the mistakes that we make as Italians in terms of pronunciation, accent, also grammar mistakes, the way we structure our sentences. And if at the beginning it was more my approach was fun, but still quite classical. With time, I kind of became more confident with the camera. I became more confident with what I was doing. I learned new skills and I really embraced it. So I basically turned every single video that I did into a little sketch. So I always start with a certain objective. So it's still a lesson. I know what I'm teaching, but the way I'm presenting it, I'm showing exactly how I felt as an Italian in the UK with the mistakes that I made, with the embarrassing situations and the awkward silences and the looks that I experienced as a foreigner. Obviously, all of this is in a it's shown in a comic way to keep you entertained. And I think a lot of people felt that they could sympathize with the character. If at the beginning my videos were targeting Italians, now that's not the case anymore. There's so many foreigners in general that follow me because they feel they can sympathize with the character and they feel that they could be in their shoes. So that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's how I found you. I seen the videos on Facebook, and and I just thought, oh, this is fun. I'm going to watch another one, and another one, and another one.
Yeah.
And actually, one thing that I really like is when you show when English people talk very fast. So you put like a phonetic version of what they say. It's all like with captions. It's all written exactly at the same time where they say it. And that reminds me when I was working in London, I had this colleague from London who was saying jammin a lot.
Jamin.
Yeah, jammin.
Jamin.
And you write it Jammin, and but actually it's do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So yeah, it's very much trying to show also people who are learning English abroad. So let's say if you're a student in Italy and you're learning English and you're learning from the book with the classic approach of listening one, exercise two. What are the characters saying? Hello, my name is Martha. What is your name? And then realizing that when you come to the country, nobody speaks like that. The majority of people probably speak the way you're saying. Do you know what I mean? So it's also kind of training people to listen to the real spoken English and not just the CD version. Obviously, there are some people that do speak like the BBC. Obviously, it is very important to learn how to speak properly, but is equally as important to learn um, how native speakers speak informally and embracing their accent. Because if you do that, then you'll be able to understand everybody coming from all different backgrounds, social classes, and also maybe other foreign speakers of English.
Yeah, and for me, there was that shock of the first time for me was going to from Italy because I grew up in Italy. I went to university, and then um, I won like an internship. I went to an internship in France. So I had studied French for many years, but then I never really talked with someone in French. I knew like all the grammar and stuff.
That's me with French.
Yeah.
That's me with French.
And then I took I got these CDs with the dialogues, so I learned that, and then I end up in Bordeaux in France, and there is a slang and there is an accent, and everybody talks very very fast. The first 6 months, it was like I would just say in French, "How can I think this thing? What is that thing?" Like the main word was thing in French, truc. and I wouldn't really understand people. So yeah, that thing of listening to the lessons, uh, that's the language class. It's not the people on the street. It's not the people
Yeah.
we see in real life.
Yeah. I mean, grammar is just as important, but I think the two things need to have a role in language learning that needs to be equal. So you're doing as much grammar and study of the language um, and kind of the same amount of time needs to be spent in learning conversational English and phonetics and pronunciation. I'm a huge fan of phonetics and pronunciation, not in the sense that I want everybody to speak like the Queen, but I think learning and studying phonetics really helps improve quickly and it helps you understand different accents. It's really hard to explain it if you've never studied phonetics, but I always make this example. So imagine you want to learn how to play an instrument. There's certain learners that play by ear. So they are amazing. They're absolutely talented. You put a piano in front of them, and just with a lot of practice, they can follow the sound and, reproduce that music. But that's really rare. That's uncommon. The majority of people if they thought, oh, I will never be able to play, just looking at someone playing by ear, I'm never going to be able to do what he does or she does. Of course, but there is a way for you to play. You learn how to read the musical notes, and then you'll be able to actually reproduce the same song just by learning in a technical way how to read the notes and read and reproduce them on the piano, for example, right? So both musicians at the end of the process can be equally good at playing the same song. One has learned through their ears, and the other has learned how to read the script, read the notes. So with phonetics, we are helping the 90% of people cannot just reproduce sounds by ear, but by kind of reading the notes and are able to slowly learn how to reproduce those sounds with confidence and with technique. So yeah, I think phonetics is a big, big, big part of improving your accent quickly.
I've seen some of that in your videos, and there's really captions explaining well, and it's very short. So I really like that because it's funny, it's short, and uh, and it's educational. You learn something, and if if you tell me personally, if you tell me I'm going to teach you phonetics, I say no, I'm going away. Like it sounds boring.
Oh
But
no, it's not.
if you show me one of these videos, I say, okay, I'm learning phonetics, but I'm not. It's not like a boring class. It's fun, and I'm learning something because it reminds me of that time I had a similar situation or something like that.
Yeah.
And another thing I love about like being a being from a country and live in another country, so being exposed to a different language, is that there are false friends in the language. So really, like you start to say something, and everybody looks at you like you're crazy because you are saying a word that um, in your language, and actually the correspondent word in the other language is totally different, or
Yeah.
has a different meaning. And one thing that comes to mind is the word morbido in Italian, that means soft. So you go, and there's a word in English that sounds the same, it's morbid, but actually morbid means it's about disease or about some kind of disturbing subject. And actually, that's morboso in Italian. It's not morbido. And
Yeah.
morbido is soft.
Yeah.
It's like a soft pillow. So I find this correspondence so funny, and these kind of situations they are embarrassing, but they are funny as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Do you talk about these things in your lessons or like?
False friends. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many. I mean, some are funnier than others. Like you've got obviously the preservatives and preservativi.
Yeah,
Preservatives are what you put into, for example, jams or marmalade to keep it fresh. And preservativi is condoms in Italian. Someone told me the funniest story the other day on this specific topic, where she's Italian and she went to the US and she learned British English in school. And she went into a stationery shop and she asked for some rubber. And in US English, rubber is condom. In British English, rubber is an eraser.
yeah,
So the lady at the counter said, "What? Why did you come here to look for rubbers?" And the girl was 16 at the time. I was like, "Oh yeah, because I needed to do something on the paper." And she made this gesture, and the shopping assistant was absolutely shocked. She was like, "Aren't you a little bit young to look for rubbers here?" And then she realized that in the US it's called eraser. So there's some words that are false friends or can cause confusion within the English language, so let alone between other among other European languages. So
yeah.
that was a funny story.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a thing I've heard sometimes. It's like we learn. by mistakes, and that's why
Hmm.
that's a way of learning by mistakes.
Exactly.
She will know next time.
Exactly. So, for example, the way I structure my little sketches is obviously making the viewer feel really awkward and bad for the main character. Either way, because sometimes I do it the other way around. It's not always the Italian looking silly and not knowing the answer. Sometimes it's also the English character not understanding what she's trying to say and finding it awkward. So I'm just going to say it's both ways. It's not just making fun of Italians. And the way I structure it is to make you feel sorry for the character, and so you continue watching and you feel you're empathizing with the character and you feel like it could be you in that specific situation and what should you do to get out of it, what's the right answer, so you continue watching and eventually okay, I understand what to say now. And you get out of it and you get out of the video having learned that specific word or concept because you emotionally invested yourself in that specific scene and you felt involved. So that's the way I think it works.
Ah, that's wonderful. It's really like storytelling and comedy timing as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I remember now the first video I seen of your channel. It was about the bad words, the rude words in Italian. It was something about Palle.
Oh, okay. Yes. That was the other way around. You had the English character trying to learn Italian and was questioning why you Italians obsessed with balls all the time. Che palle, sulle palle, che due palle, una palla al piede. So there's so many ways we use the word palle, balls in Italian, and she was questioning that, and so obviously is also getting us Italians to think a little bit more deeply about our language because obviously we are natives, we don't think about it. So, how would a foreign speaker feel learning our own language? The other way around really helps as well for you to applying those feelings when you are learning the language and understanding all the issues that a foreigner would go through learning Italian. So all of this is kind of embracing the beauty of language learning, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and I really loved it because that's the thing that normally in class when you are in school and you learn another language, that's the thing that you do hiding from the teacher. And here it's the teacher who is explaining you those words that they never said in the class, you know, those words that when you find actually that's the thing when you go on that trip in another country and you meet people your own age from that country, that's the first thing you go and ask. How do you say the rude words in your in your language?
Yeah, I mean, also the majority of young people use slang and use swear words or talk about inappropriate topics. So when I moved to the UK and I went to live with other 12 British kids. We were 18 basically. Teenagers, like yeah, boys and girls, let's call it. And I really struggled to hold conversation with them because they were talking about lots of things that I wasn't prepared. I didn't have the vocab for. Like they were talking about sleeping with other people, they were talking about doing things that they shouldn't be doing and stuff like that. And I didn't have the vocabulary for that. So it really took me a long time. I'm not saying your lessons in school all need to be about inappropriate, let's call it for a school setting, topics, but it is also important to be exposed to those. Otherwise, you are really going to struggle. The majority of young people, I think, in Italy learn that kind of vocabulary now through Netflix, films, the internet, and social media. But when I was young, there wasn't much of that. I mean, we had Facebook, but I wouldn't go on English pages. It was just like among me, my friends, and my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and in Italy, the fact that everything was subtitled, no, not subtitled, was dubbed
dubbed.
in Italian. It was a barrier to learn other languages in a sense because actually when I moved to France, cinemas will show a lot of original version movies. So I started really, so practically I learned my English a lot from watching movies, going to the cinema and watching original version. And that's the option as well. They dub in French as well, but there's
Yeah,
the option of watching the same movie in original. And I was living with a British girl. We were living in the same flat, and so and
so you could
she would love
practice.
movies. Yeah, and the big practice was watching everything, series and movies in English in original language.
Yeah.
That was a big practice. So you have your Facebook account. I think that it's really like big. You have lots of followers, about 500,000,
Yeah.
and you have your YouTube as well. Like, do you have kind of the same content?
So I have my Facebook, my Instagram as well is quite big, and my TikTok is all right. Um, and YouTube is kind of my default channel for the moment, in the sense I've always posted the same thing across all platforms because different users use different platforms. But I would like to create some more content like specific for YouTube, so longer lessons maybe, or maybe more something um, talking more about my techniques, my experiences, what I've done, what I've studied in my life, what I've learned. But I'm so busy. I find it really hard to find the time to plan different content because obviously creating these sketches takes me so much time between um writing the content, creating the script, filming and editing. And because I do everything by myself, one video may take around 7, 8 hours of work. So if I start also creating different content for a different platform, I doubt I'll find the time. I need more help, I think, creating these, but I find it difficult to find the right people who could join me in this journey. Then obviously I teach at night. I've got my classes, and I co-run the school with my sister. So we observe the teachers, we interview new teachers, we upload the lessons onto the website. So there's a lot of work to do. I wish I could do more. And now we've started doing these live workshops around Italy. We've just done one in Milan. We're going to do one in Rome in June. And then we've got our 2 weeks summer school here in London in July. So we also are starting to offer live events both in Italy and the UK. So it is only one of me, and thank God my sister is running half of the shebang, let's call it.
Yeah, but I think the thing in the end would be that probably you will focus on what you love the most and
Yes, that's
delegate
what
the
we're
rest.
trying to do. I mean, what I love the most is obviously creating content. I would love to start my own podcast as well soon. Just need to decide exactly what I'm going to do because there's so many things that I'm interested in. I was thinking about storytelling for bilingual children. I
Mhm.
was thinking about a basically an audio version of the sketches, like a little audio drama of the sketches, and at the end of it, a little discussion about the vocabulary, about the idioms, about the pronunciation. And I was thinking about um oh yes, those were my ideas, either storytelling for children or the audio drama, or maybe both. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, actually, you could, yeah, you could do both types of episodes. There's lots of podcasters. They do like the longer interviews, and they do shorter episodes as well in the
Yeah.
same channel.
hmm
So
Yeah.
that's feasible. Yeah, the thing. Also, I thought about something earlier on where you were talking about living with students, like 18 years old students all living together. And it reminds me of this movie I see. It was very famous. It was L'Auberge Espagnole, the Spanish flat, the Spanish
I don't know.
apartment. And it's a French movie from 10, 20 years ago with really like students doing Erasmus in, I think, Barcelona.
hmm
And so there are all these situations. And there's the British student, a girl who realizes that French people to say I go to university, like in English you will say I go to uni, and in French they say je vais à la fac.
Yes. Yeah.
And so there's really a part in the movie where she is like, I'm going to the fuck.
That's quite funny, actually.
And
That's quite funny.
yeah, it was super funny. At that time, I was living in France and I was learning English a
Yeah.
lot, so it made me laugh so much. So it's
Yeah.
a nice movie to see, but yeah, it's French movie, so like
Okay, if you could send me the link, I would love to
yeah,
check it out.
yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the conversation. It was
Thank you so much for having me today. Thank
wonderful.
you so much for inviting me. And lovely chatting to you.
I see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Join me at the Earth Space London in Hoxton on the 21st of February, this Friday, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be a private view of all the resident artists, and I am one of them. We can talk about the art, have a glass of wine, and look at all the beautiful art, original and prints in the gallery. Free entry. Please book your place with the link below. I hope to see you there. In my website you can find a new free document you can download. It's called Beliefs That Support Us for the Life We Want. And it's a list of 6 limiting beliefs that we can transform in supporting beliefs. And then an example is something that happened just this week. And this is my son, who is 8, who was saying, I'm so unlucky because he will lose when he was playing video games with his brother. So I facilitated a psyche balance with him when we installed the new supporting beliefs, I am lucky. And the same evening, just a few hours after this, he came to me all happy and he said, I won 3 matches today in the video game. So actually children are a very good example on how balancing with psyche and changing the subconscious beliefs can really, we can really see results very quickly. And that was really heartwarming for me to see him happy and feeling lucky. So you can download the free document from my website. The link is below.